On September 22nd, 2022, Ime Udoka was suspended by the Boston Celtics for the entire 2022-2023 NBA season after violating team policies. Now, it's important to know the year right before this, he took his team to the NBA Finals, and at the time, he was one of the most popular coaches in the league. But as you know, he got fired. He would eventually get hired by the Houston Rockets, and he would actually address these claims.
As you reflect on what happened in Boston, do you feel like the Celtics were justified in the actions that they took against you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my part in it was to take ownership and accountability for my part. They had a choice to make a decision, and they went that route. And my thing was own up to it, take responsibility, and I served the suspension and had to own it, honestly. So, same thing I'll preach to the guys. I can't sit here and not take accountability myself. So, it was their right to go about it however they wanted to, and that's the choice they took.
Later on in 2023, another black coach by the name of Mel Tucker, who was on a 10-year, $95 million contract with the Michigan State Spartans.
Michigan State fired head coach Mel Tucker today for inappropriate conduct. Tucker was accused of sexual harassment during a phone call with a prominent driver and activist that he had hired to speak to his team. The university terminating what's left of the 10-year, $95 million contract that Tucker signed less than 2 years ago.
Now, in the Ime Udoka case, he lost his job over sleeping with a white woman, despite being married to Nia Long. And Mel Tucker, who has a black wife, stop the show. She actually filed for divorce. He lost his job behind the white lady. And you would think that black men would get the hint, right? Sherrone Moore, a young brother from Kansas who was an offensive lineman, went to the University of Oklahoma, and he worked his way up through the coaching ranks. He coached tight ends at Central Michigan. He then moved to Michigan, became the offensive line and co-offensive coordinator, became the offensive coordinator. He would be an important reason as to why Michigan would win their national title in 2024. Once Jim Harbaugh went back to the NFL with the LA Chargers, Sherrone Moore would get an opportunity to become the head coach. But it was not without consequence.
They were going to get rid of him whether he had success or not. But the moment that they started losing games, Dave Portnoy and the Michigan Donors were going to run him out of town. Sherrone Moore now is coming off of a loss to Oklahoma. He has to sit out for 2 weeks while he serves a suspension on behalf of Jim Harbaugh. And Michigan's going to lose 2 more games because they're not even able to practice, speak to, or talk to the head coach of the football team.
See, here is something that we got to understand. Sherrone Moore and Harbaugh, they were in some kind of scandal with hand-stealing gestures from other teams. And it was a big deal. Sherrone Moore served some suspensions. Jim Harbaugh served some suspensions. And Harbaugh was kind of under like a 10-year suspension where like any team in college football that hired him, it would be difficult for them to do it. Mel Tucker's under the same situation right now. So Harbaugh just, for the most part, couldn't stay in college football. And so Sherrone Moore was kind of that last tree that was kind of looming from the Harbaugh regime, right? And so people thought that he was going to lose his job anyway, but really that wasn't the case. I mean, he had the rebuild team. He went 8-5 in Michigan 2024. This year he's 7-3. They lost to Ohio State, but it was competitive, and they have a young team. So, I think he's performing pretty good. He's 16-8 as a head coach at Michigan. But then there was a rumor that was coming out earlier this month.
If he has a type, he has a type.
That's part of the reporting. That's his type. I'm sorry, but it's when I'm up to my 5th woman I've talked to, and they're all between the ages of 25 to 38, 39, and they're all skinny blonde white women. He has a type, and that he's allowed to have a type, but it's certainly unbecoming to be trying to meet up for dinner with various.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah. Have I said too much?
No. Oh, no.
Well, let's just say I've seen some of these exchanges personally. And
I think you're channeling your inside voice now, Justin. I think that's what's going on.
Well, I can be a little more informal here, but and it's funny because and this is one of the callbacks I'm waiting on. It could be any minute, it could be an hour, I don't know, because Michigan they're well aware. Ward Manuel has had multiple conversations with his team up there, athletic director at University of Michigan today. They're very aware of what's going on. They've known what's going on for years with this guy, that's part of the reporting. If you've known about this stuff, why is this guy even here?
That rumor would actually be true. Come to find out, your boy Sherrone Moore had been sleeping or at least trying to date multiple white women, around U of M. And the most important one is this lady, Paige Shiver. Okay, Paige Shiver joined the University of Michigan program in November 2021. She was working as an on-campus recruiting and football operations coordinator on then Jim Harbaugh's staff, all right? She was then promoted to her current role as executive to the head coach in February 2024, shortly after Sherrone Moore took over the University of Michigan program. This is important to know. Sherrone Moore is married to a white woman by the name of Kelly Moore. They have been married since 2015, so yes, he was married, all right? Now, in the case of the other guys, Mel Tucker and Ime Udoka, both of them were in relationships with black women. But in the case of Sherrone Moore, he already had a wife, a white wife. And that's why the last clip said he has his preferences. Well, allegedly, he got this lady pregnant, Paige Shiver. They found out that he was sleeping with her. And then guess what? They fired him. Now, after he was fired, allegedly, he broke into that lady's house and there was some other stuff. I'm not even going to deal with that. I'm not even concerned with it, all right? That's for another day. That's not my point of the video. The idea is this man was getting paid $6.1 million a year. The rest of his contract is now voided. He's gonna lose that money. Let's look at the reasons that a University of Michigan coach could lose their employment. The university has the right to terminate the employment of the head coach for cause in the event of any of the following. 1, failure of the head coach in material respect to perform the services required of him under this agreement. Conviction of the head coach of any criminal offense involving fraud, conviction of any felony, which he didn't do, all right? Conduct of the head coach which offends against public decency or morality, as shall be determined by standards prevailing in the community, or which results in the reasonable determination of the university could result in material injury to the reputation, interests, or obligations of the university or program. Misconduct as defined in sections 1 and 2A of University of Michigan standard practice. All right. When you go to C, him messing with Paige, the staffer, this is public decency or morality. All right. So this does create material injury to the reputation or the interests or obligations of the university of the program. All right. Now, I know some people are going to talk about this and say that this is racist. This is what it is. Well, to be honest, a lot of coaches have faced this. Bobby Petrino, for example, Arkansas faced this same thing in 2012 when he was doing really well at Arkansas and just messed up his career. But what black men, and I keep seeing this, a lot of black men that get into these situations, number one, they have to be excellent to get them, all right? To get into University of Michigan, Michigan State as the head coach, as an African-American or Black American head coach, you have to be elite, all right? Now, once you get to where you're at, you have to show restraint, okay? Because any little reason will get you out of there. I don't know why the guy felt that because he was the offensive coordinator of the national championship winning team, he had some luxury. No, he's not, all right? He's done. He's 39. You crashed out here. You got locked up after you got fired. So what are the opportunities for a young guy like this? Almost none, okay? You would need to go to a smaller school. I mean, he'll probably get hired if all of this can go away eventually. He's an offensive line coach. He probably has a recruiting pipeline. He'll probably become, some level of an offensive coach, offensive line coach. He'll have to have an extremely good pipeline. Maybe some school like Middle Tennessee State would take a shot at him. Maybe an HBCU, which you probably won't do that. Some school in the MAC, Ball State, Toledo. Then he'd have to win and do exceptionally good there. If he could win and do exceptionally good there, he would then get a chance to come back to like a Power 5 program, Big Ten school in the SEC, but he would have to do extremely well. But why would you have to do that when you've already messed up your opportunity? Like, what is it about certain black men not understanding leadership? Just because you're making $6 million a year, guess what? You don't own the team. All right. If you're going to do stuff like that, I hate to say this is going to be controversial. You shouldn't do it anyway. And note that I said you shouldn't do it anyway, but you need to be Diddy. You need to own what you got. Okay. If you're going to act a fool, you need to own the business. You need to be so powerful that you can make a Ciroc sale. You cannot work for people in white environment and do stuff like this and think that they're not going to catch you. When you're a black man, you have less opportunity to make mistakes. I really wish that black men would get this, but Mel Tucker didn't get it, Ime Udoka didn't get it, and Sherrone Moore didn't get it. And if you think that you're going to keep your job while sleeping with white women, and all of these guys have lost their jobs over white women, you are insane. I don't care if your preference is white women or not. Your preference needs to be keeping your damn job and stop being a damn fool. 39 years old, making $6.1 million a year. Then you're gonna lose your wife all over some cheeks. And I mean, no disrespect to the young lady Paige Shiver. I mean, you know, she's a nice looking Caucasian lady, but come on, guy. Like you don't have no other level of clapping like you can get with at all. You can't. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, she may get fired too, but guess who is gonna be looking like the person that's the evil one? You. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oshay Duke Jackson back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.